Tonight on Lead Story, the government has approved a 16% fare increase for public passenger vehicles, PPV operators, 8% of which took effect today, June 2nd, 2026. The remaining 8% of the fare increase that has been pending since April 2024 will take effect in July this year. The opposition spokesperson on transport will join us. And also tonight, the FLA report. And later on, we'll also be bringing you some global news. I'm Tyrone Reed, sitting in for Jordan Quarry, and this is Lead Story. Michael Phillips, opposition spokesman on transport and mining, as well as Aaron Mattis, president of the Spanish Town Taxi Association. Before we go to our guests, we want to let the viewers know that CVM News contacted Daryl Vaz, Minister of Transport. However, he has agreed to join us at a later date. Michael Phillips and Aaron Mattis, welcome to Lead Story. All right, we are trying to make contact with Michael Phillips and Aaron Mattis, and we will do so in a few ticks. But of course, 16% granted to the PPV operators approved by the government of Jamaica today, 8% of which took effect today, and the remaining 8% will take effect in July. Our commuters responding to this. We'll have more of the details in the major news at 7 at the top of the hour. But we want to talk with the stakeholders to ascertain their reactions to what has been granted. And we also hope to, in the coming days, continue to talk with commuters to see how they're faring, because there is a major issue that must be tackled, and that is those who are charging above the approved rates. Yes, and many taxi operators are doing that, and that's something, of course, for the authorities to pay attention to. So we're hoping to be joined by Michael Phillips and Aaron Mattis in a few ticks. We're going to take a break right here, and hopefully we'll be able to connect with Michael Phillips and Aaron Mattis. This is the Lead Story. We'll be right back after these.
On Farming Forward, we're coming to you from, whoa, look at that, we're coming to you from Riverdale in St. Catherine, and we'll be talking to that young entrepreneur you just saw. He was picking breadfruits, but I can tell you about the chickens that he's been caring for all these years. He'll be talking to us about real yard chickens. Farming Forward. We're brought to you by Nutrimix. Tell me, Nutrimix? The big feed. The big feed.
The internationally acclaimed On Stage with Winfred Williams.
At a new time, Saturdays at 8 p.m. on CVM TV.
So much more than entertainment.
Hi, I am Candy Pang.
What Watagwan. Watagwan.
Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 8 a.m., 1:30 p.m., and 10 p.m. on CVM TV.
Every dream conquered is another dream game. I land and I fly again like a jet plane. Headed straight in your direction. 'Cause I'm wiser, one step closer. I'm winning 'cause I work so hard. And the music keeps on playing, and the people that I say we are mash up the dance. Oh, what a feeling! Don't stop dreaming. Keep on believing in the power of the feeling. Whatever you want, take a chance. Song in your heart, step in your dance. You got a spark, don't put it down. Shine your lights on.
Jamaica's unemployment.
Popeye's Challenge Cup rolls on into the quarterfinal round Wednesday, June 3. It's win or go home. This is where true quality rises to the top. CVM TV will thrill you with a doubleheader from the Anthony Spalding Sports Complex. Jamaica Premier League champions Portmore United look to take a league and cup double, but face off against a Montego Bay United team hungry for silverware in the feature at 8:30 p.m. In the curtain raiser at 6 p.m, home team Arnett Gardens welcome a Jamaica Defence Force team whose military prowess saw them pull off a coup against Premier League giants Cavalier and march into the quarterfinals. Will David slay Goliath? Or will the mighty prevail? It's a tasty Popeye's Challenge Cup quarterfinal doubleheader live on CVM TV. Let's delve deep into the issues. We'll take you beneath the surface.
Greetings and salutations. My name is Orville Higgins, and it's another edition of Fan Central.
Talking to the people at the heart of the top sporting stories. Hear from your favorite sportsmen and women and the administrators who work tirelessly to make it all happen. It's live sports talk.
I've written an entire article.
Yes.
Looking at all the major issues every Tuesday at 9 p.m. It's Fan Central.
This week on Farming Forward, we're coming to you from, whoa, look at that. We're coming to you from Riverdale in St. Catherine. And we'll be talking to that young entrepreneur you just saw. He was picking breadfruits, but I can tell you about the chickens that he's been caring for all these years. He'll be talking to us about real yard chickens. Farming Forward. We're brought to you by Nutrimix. Tell me, Nutrimix. The big feed. The big feed.
Welcome back again. The price of travel. This is the lead story. We have with us the opposition spokesperson on transport, Mikhail Phillips. Mikhail Phillips, top of the evening to you. Welcome to CVM TV's lead story.
And the same to you and your viewers.
Your immediate reaction to the 16% increase granted to PPV operators?
A 16% increase to the operators was long overdue. The government had announced a 35% increase to the operators, proposed to do it in 2 tranches. They have been waiting over 2 years now for this second tranche. But how it was done by the minister today was, I would term a joke in how it was implemented, in no notification to the traveling public to give them time to prepare themselves for the increase. We have never seen it done like this before by any other administration, and how it was done in the way that it was done, it would have left commuters some not prepared for the increase on the same day that it was announced. Also, that they would seek to gazette it after the announcement and after implementing the increase is when they would have seek to gazette it. So in how it was done is really a gimmick in how the administration treats public transport sector and the traveling public.
If I'm hearing from you clearly, Michael Phillips, you're saying the implementation was untidy to make it effective. The date is being announced. You're saying that is entirely untidy.
Very, very much so, because even the operators themselves would be uncertain on what it is that they should charge. No fare table has been issued to the general public for the operators themselves. Some would have started to charge the increased fares before. Is it the 8% on their increased fare? So, or to give the traveling public an understanding of what it is that they should exactly be charged. But also, I keep saying that the conversation needs to move beyond just how much increase has been given, but how it is that the plan for an increase is done. And we have consistently said that the fare increase or the implementation thereof should be taken out of the hands of the political directorate and to be given to an institution like the OUR. So that proper planning, not only for the consumer, but also for the public transport operators, the investors in the public transport sector, can better plan. Because when you wait 8 to 10 years to give an increase and having to give a 35% increase, that in itself would have driven a lot of the operators out of business to wait on an increase for so long. And it would be, and it is a huge impact not only to inflation but to the traveling public to have such a large increase at one time. So we have been asking for a national transport plan. The minister made an announcement in Parliament to table a green paper on a national transport plan. But we've been waiting for a very long time now, and the action of the minister today and the administration shows that there needs to be a plan and there needs to be a formal mechanism in how it is that fares are determined.
Michael Phillips, what would a government formed by your party would have done differently if it were handling today's fare increase announcement? What would you have done differently?
Well, one, as I said, I've been saying for quite a number of years that we would have handed it over to an entity like the OUR so that some proper planning can be done in place, be done for the transport sector itself. And if we found ourselves in a position like Minister Vaz has found himself, giving the fare increase, we would have implemented it at least a couple of days down the road, have it gazetted, but also to issue that fare table so that consumers themselves can plan for what is expected to come.
An astute observation there from Michael Phillips about the increase being made effective on the same day it was announced. We are going to be joined by Michael Diamond, the CEO of Consumers Intervention of Jamaica. But we're up on a break. We take the break right here, and then when we come back, we'll hear from the voice of the consumers along with the opposition spokesperson on transport, Michael Phillips. Soon come.
The internationally acclaimed On Stage with Winfred Williams.
At a new time, Saturdays at 8 p.m. on CVM TV.
So much more than entertainment.
Jamaica's unemployment rate has fallen to 3.3%, down from 13.2% in 2016. Our government's continued focus on job creation is delivering real results. We are building Jamaica. The time by the Office of the Prime Minister is...
At Hawkeye, we work hard to develop state-of-the-art security solutions like our new Total Connect smart home automation system that gives you 24/7 access to control your appliances, lights, cameras, and doors using your smartphone, tablet, or PC. As the most trusted electronic security company in Jamaica, Hawkeye has the fastest response times to get to you when you need us most. Trust Hawkeye's Total Connect. Hawkeye, securing what matters most.
Welcome back to Lead Story. We're talking about the price of travel. The opposition spokesperson on transport, Micaiah Phillips, is with us, and we are also being joined by Mr. Diamond, who is with us. He's from the Consumers Association. That's Michael Diamond, CEO of the Consumers Intervention of Jamaica. And I'd like to begin this segment with you, Michael Diamond. You heard there from Micaiah Phillips. He's saying there's no way why the increase should be effective the same day it was announced. Is that reasonable, Michael Diamond?
Okay, well, we know that it's a shock, and by all means, logically thinking, no, it should not be implemented on the same day of the announcement. And what is going to end up happening is that there are going to be a lot of consumers that are complaining, and just on the face of it, surface of it, it is a violation of consumer rights because the consumer has a right to be informed. This same day implementation and to announce it in the same day, that is not necessarily how you inform a consumer that there's going to be a price change. So this is problematic. For while most are in agreement that some increase is at this particular time timely, is just the implementation of it is very messy. And what I've gotten so far, because I've gotten the calls, consumers not knowing what they're supposed to be paying, if they're supposed to be paying at all, and of course also from some operators to know what exactly are they supposed to be doing in this particular time, because everyone pretty much was caught off guard in regards to the implementation of it. But nevertheless, this is a situation that clearly is going to need more time to adjust.
Breach of consumer rights, an issue you raised there just now. What do you and your organization intend to do about that particular breach? The fact that 8% of the 16% is effective the same day it was announced.
Keep it in mind that the consumer has a right to be informed, and the challenge that is happening here is that the consumer is going to be at a shock at the time of the transaction. So what we would have also been anticipating and expecting is that the CAC is going to be responding to this in a manner that consumers need to be informed, and for any operator that perhaps are charging the inappropriate, of course, the incorrect amounts, that also has to be addressed as well, because that is also one of the concerns being raised, is that since there's an increase, and the prior increase, there were some actors that were acting outside of what was regulated. So will we also have an increased monitoring and enforcement of this new increase that is being implemented today? So there are still many things here that we would need from the consumer side of things to make sure that not only that is justified, but it's also being monitored for fairness.
So perhaps let me be a bit more pointed there, Mr. Diamond. Should Jamaica expect some sort of legal challenge, given that you're suggesting a breach took place with the announcement and the effective date being the same day?
I don't imagine that there needs to be a legal challenge at this point. What I do foresee happening is that there's going to be some adjustment in regards to implementation so that the public can be more sensitized and more informed on what exactly is taking place, what the actual rates are, so that we can move forward. I don't see that this is something that anyone would be too resistant for, especially since the operators themselves are also facing this confusion.
And the remaining 8% is scheduled for next month. Is that too much too soon for consumers?
Many things right now are going to be too much too soon, simply because of the economic climate. But nevertheless, these increases are necessary. And believe it or not, there are consumers who agree that it is timely Nevertheless, they know that there's going to be a struggle and a sacrifice. But as far as information and preparation and planning is concerned, that was missing today. And for next month, perhaps we'll be a little bit more prepared. But for right now, we do need to be informed, and we do need to be able to present to consumers the actual breakout of what exactly is supposed to be paid. So we do need a fair table for individuals to at least have some basis upon which to file their complaint in the event that individuals are violating that.
Michael Phillips, I'd love to bring you back into the conversation here. You heard it from Michael Diamond. He's saying, look, a number of these public passenger operators have been charging more than the approved rates. What would your government, an administration formed by your party, do differently to tackle this business of people being charged illegal fares?
Well, the thing is, it comes down to implementation, and then, so we'll have to ask, is the Transport Authority, who has the responsibility of enforcement, has the responsibility of fare increase and enforcement to ensure that the operators are charging a correct fare. You have to ask the question, are they really up to the task? But this I come back to my salient point is that if you take so long to give the operators a fare increase, then this is what you expect of them, because they're in business, and they're in business not to be losing monies as the administration might expect of them, but they're in business to make a profit. They're in business to be able to maintain the vehicles that we ask them to we license for public passenger use. So that's why I keep saying that we need to get a system in place on how it is that fare increases are given, but it cannot be that it is left in the hands of the political directorate and you take 7, 8 to 10 years to give an increase, and once you give that increase, you break it in 2 tranches, and then you get this messy situation that we are now discussing today. I think there needs to be a greater conversation on how it is done, what is the mechanism, and how it is that we treat the consumers and the operators themselves.
I'm not certain if you've profited, but I might have missed it, Michael Phillips. What I'm asking is, what would an administration formed by the PMP do differently to protect the motoring public, the consumers, commuting public, pardon me, from PPV operators who are charging illegal fares more than they should? What would your government do differently to clean that up?
And I will repeat myself again. It is a responsibility of the Transport Authority. So if you ask me that question, we would have strengthened the Transport Authority to be able to enforce the right fare. Right. Secondly, is that we would not have taken so long to give an increase, because we would have found a mechanism like the OUR to be able to give regular increases, be it every 2 years or whatever has been agreed upon with the entity and the operators. So we would not be the operators wouldn't have to wait 8 to 10 years to get an increase.
Right.
When you have a situation like that, you are going to have them, some doing it illegally. We do not support them overcharging the operators, the traveling public outside of the prescribed fare, but at the same time, it is unfair to ask the operators to wait so long to absorb all these costs and not get what is just to them to be able to run a business in a meaningful way.
I'm hoping you can understand why I put the question back to you again, Michael Phillips, because the Transport Authority is responsible for the enforcement now, and we see it happening, on a wide scale. So I was really asking for details of how you plan to empower the Transport Authority to ensure that they prevent this from happening.
Yeah, and again, I said the Transport Authority, we have made a proposal, even coming into the last election, that the Transport Authority, we would really look at revamping the Transport Authority, who is the sole entity within government that sets fares and that oversees the whole public transport sector. The part for enforcement, we propose that the enforcement part of the transport authority, we would take it out of the hands of the transport authority and set up what we would call metro police in each town centers to help with the enforcement part, jointly with the JCF, to deal with the enforcement part of public transport. But for them to be the regulator and to be the enforcer at the same time, it has not worked. So we would have to relook at the method of how it is that the Transport Authority operates in today's public transport sector.
Michael Diamond, what say you to that suggestion there from Michael Phillips? And does your association have any suggestions on how to protect consumers from these taxi operators who are overcharging them?
Well, I can tell you that any recommendation that puts the safety of the consumer, primary, is always welcome. The reality of it is that a lot of times, many of these things are based on management, and we don't want to keep implementing laws, rules, regulations that falls the same victim of poor management, poor leadership that allows these things to take place. What we currently have on the books for the Transport Authority is enough to give that level of enforcement that we all are seeking. So what we need to do is to enforce the laws that we already have on the books in a meaningful way, rather than just for PR purposes. The reality of it is that we need to have a mechanism that will allow for a consumer to be able to report an operator that is in breach, and that investigation occurs. Whether it's an investigation that is done, covertly by the department, but the reality of it is that it does happen. It's been happening. Many individuals would deny it. Some individuals blatantly put that breach on their vehicle, on the headrest, so customers will know once they enter the vehicle that this is my fare. So the reality of it is that we have a lack of. Sometimes it's a lack of.
Do you support the call, because we just have 30 seconds, do you support the call to take the enforcement away from the Transport Authority?
Absolutely not at this particular time. The JCF is already burdened, and we do not want to put any situation where they
I think he mentioned Metro Police, not just JCF. He said the implementation of some Metro Police.
My challenge there is that will they be armed? Again, we do not need any more armed enforcements where these administrative things are concerned. So we have to be very mindful of that.
Yeah, well, we have to leave it there. Michael Phillips, Michael Diamond, thank you, gentlemen, for making the lead story. I appreciate the time and the thoughts.
Okay.
All right, we are going to take another break. When we come back, we'll hear from Aaron Mattis, president of the Spanish Town Taxi Association.
This week on Farming Forward, we're coming to you from, whoa, look at that, we're coming to you from Riverdale in St. Catherine, and we'll be talking to that young entrepreneur you just saw. He was picking breadfruits, but I can tell you about the chickens that he's been caring for all these years. He'll be talking to us about real yard chickens. Farming Forward. We're brought to you by Nutrimix. Tell me, Nutrimix. The big feed. The big feed.
Every dream conquered is another dream gained. I land and I fly again like a jet plane. Headed straight in your direction, 'cause I'm wiser, one step closer. I'm winning 'cause I work so hard. And the music keeps on playing, and the people never say we are marshall
Jamaica, make we do the right thing. Make we live good today for a better tomorrow. Talk it out. Don't fight it out. The time by the Ministry of National Security is
6:30. Popeye's Challenge Cup rolls on into the quarterfinal round Wednesday, June 3. It's win or go home. This is where true quality rises to the top. CVM TV will thrill you with a doubleheader from the Anthony Spalding Sports Complex. Jamaica Premier League champions Portmore United look to take a league and cup double, but face off against a Montego Bay United team hungry for silverware in the feature at 8:30 p.m. In the curtain raiser at 6 p.m., home team Arnett Gardens welcome a Jamaica Defence Force team whose military prowess saw them pull off a coup against Premier League giants Cavalier and march into the quarterfinals. Will David slay Goliath? Or will the mighty prevail? It's a tasty Popeye's Challenge Cup quarterfinal doubleheader live on CVM TV.
The internationally acclaimed On Stage with Winfred Williams.
At a new time, Saturdays at 8 p.m. on CVM TV.
So much more than entertainment.
Hi, I am Candy Pang.
What a guan? What a guan?
That a guan, pa.
What a guan? What a guan?
What a One. Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 8 a.m., 1:30 p.m., and 10 p.m. on CVM TV.
And that's a guan, pa. What a guan?
Tonight, on Small Biz, Big Dreams, we meet Deli, a barber who provides sharp fades that enlighten dark days. This is Small Biz, Big Dreams. For the past 15 years, Delroy Deli's Cut has been operating out of Little Premier Plaza in Halfway Tree, offering haircuts to a steady stream of workers, students, and commuters passing through the area. In a space where competition is high, Deli says reliability, skill, and how you treat people are what keep customers coming back.
Well, for my longer time, I have a love for barbering. So back then, when I was like 16-year-old, I got a shirt from my brother, and I say, hey, it's like a miracle. I'm just start do some haircuts. So from then, it all started. It's a skill we are growing over the years. So I just have a natural love for barbering. So I've been from then, I just have a love for barbering, doing barbering.
Deli says barbering is more than just a trade. It's a daily commitment to professionalism. From maintaining clean tools to staying up to date with styles and techniques, he believes consistency is the foundation of a successful small business.
Modern hairstyle, most youngsters would like the high top, so we have to do like the modern hairstyle, cut, like mohawk, you name it. For females as well, designs, eyebrows, yeah. So for males and females, yeah. I want to come to the barber shop because release a little stress, a laugh and all of that. So we like family, we go into friends, friends, close family. It's like a family sentence.
Beyond the chair, Deli says his work plays a critical role in supporting his family, paying bills, and investing in the future. He hopes his journey shows young people that skill-based businesses, when taken seriously, can provide stability and pride.
It's a good feeling to know that if you get up in the morning and you don't feel like come out, yeah, that's you don't come out. So yeah, it's good to be your own entrepreneur. And to have a love for it, just work hard towards it. It will go, it will succeed. It will pay that. Definitely.
Next week, we meet another entrepreneur who has some blessings, but we'll conjure some more. Hey! Until then, for Small Biz, Big Dreams, I'm Kevin Black.
Welcome back. Welcome back. This is the lead story, and we're continuing our focus on the rate increase that was granted to public passenger vehicles, operators today. 16% granted, 8% of which took effect today, the same day it was announced, and the remaining 8% to take effect next month in July. We are now being joined by Aaron Mattis. Yes, he's joining us. He's the president of the Spanish Town Taxi Association. Top of the evening to you, Aaron Mattis. Thanks so much for joining us. Your reaction to the increase that was granted today, are you satisfied?
Yes, good evening. I am somewhat satisfied, not fully, because I think it should have been implemented all at once in terms of putting it in a phase basis, phase 1, phase 2.
Yes, and in terms of your members, have you canvassed the views of your members, or are they reacting to the increase?
They share the same sentiment in terms of persons wanting the increase to be on one level, so as to speak, giving us the increase all at once, because no one knew it would have been done in this phase 1, phase 2 until this.
And so I gather you are a tad disgruntled about that. How about your customers? Have you heard from them? The increase taking effect, a portion of it, that is, on the same day it was announced. Have you heard anything from commuters?
Yes, quite a few commuters called me and asked if it is so, because they have not heard it publicly that there was a fare increase, and I told them yes. And then the challenges that they are having is that they were asking us for a fare table in terms of a sheet to show what was supposed to be charged. I told them that by tomorrow they would have gotten that. By maybe tomorrow we would have gotten some communication to give them some kind of paper document to say this is how they move forward in terms of the percentage or what is charged based on what was charging before.
But Mr. Mattis, it's an open secret that some of your colleagues, that fare table means nothing to them. They are illegally overcharging the commuters.
Yes, some are doing it, which is true. And I implore persons and I say, what we're going to have now, if we are not careful, is that persons are going to put some percentage on in the first month, and then persons are going to want to put some percentage on again in the second month. And what you would have now is an overcharge if we are not careful, because persons would want to put on 8% from what they were actually charging now. And they are going to want to put on another 8% from what they are charging then again in another month time, if you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying, but what you're saying is illegal. So what is your association doing about it?
And I am saying, that's why I would have wanted the increase to be on a one-phase basis, so the percentage can be leveled, if you understand my point.
No, so but Mr. Mattis, with all due respect, even if you got the 16% increase, some of your members, some of your colleagues would have added that 16% onto the illegal fare that they were charging in the first place. The problem is we need to rein in those rogue taxi operators. And I want to find out what are the decent, law-abiding taxi operators like yourself, because I'm assuming you're one of them. What are you guys doing to ensure that your colleagues are brought to book?
Well, let me tell you, I know of persons who they are really price gouging in terms of overcharging. And when persons would call me, I would say, this is the fare that is supposed to be charged. That I cannot police them like that. But when I am there, I would say to them, this is wrong. This is not what is supposed to be charging. This is what is supposed to be charging.
So your hands are tied, basically.
You can police them day by day, you can police them. So what we are going to have is some sense of enforcement from the police and the transport authority to have them doing what they are supposed to be doing and charging what they are supposed to be charging the commuters in terms of what the government say the fare increases.
So your hands are tied, basically. You only have moral suasion over your members. How about kicking those members from the association who are breaking the law? Have you tried that?
I have recommended that maybe 2 times person's license be suspended. But on the other hand, if we have proper enforcement of what is the law, then that wouldn't be needed.
So Aaron Mattis, if I'm hearing you correctly, you're saying the Spanish Town Taxi Association would support the revocation of licenses of taxi operators, public passenger vehicle operators who are overcharging customers. Is that what I'm hearing from you?
Of course. Yes, that's what I said.
Right, please. I want to hear you. I want to hear you say.
The buck stops somewhere. If we have operators who are price gouging and continuously doing it, there should be a revocation of somebody's license.
And when you say continuously, you're
I'm not saying in the first instance, but if you find that the person continuously doing it and they are brought to books and continuously doing it, these are persons who are doing it legal.
Let's be a bit more specific than continuously, though, Mr. Mattis. Let's be a bit more specific than that. So, not on the first occasion. Are we talking about the second or third? Because clearly you can't go above 3 times.
You can't go above 3 times, so I agree with you.
So, on the third occasion of being found guilty of overcharging commuters, those taxi personnel, those public passenger vehicle operators, their licenses should be revoked. So says the president of the Spanish Town Taxi Association.
There can be a suspension or revocation.
All right. So we hear that from you. And perhaps, is this a conversation you've had with other members who head up associations across the country? Is this a conversation that you've had with them? We're sorry about that. Viewers must apologize. We've lost the president of the Spanish Town Taxi Association. But just in case you're just joining us, we have a clip for you from the Minister of Transport from today's media conference, making the announcement to the people of Jamaica that today, yes, there would be an increase taking effect on the day that it was being announced. Here is the Transport Minister, Darrell Vaz.
Now that the fares have been regularized, for want of a better word, it is going to be zero tolerance in relation to any overcharging. The 16% has now been granted within 1 month, June 2nd, July 1st. As I explained before, the rationale for that, and I'm sure that it will be understood and accepted. However, what I don't want is those persons that had raised their fares arbitrarily and illegally already to now do another fare increase on this government-announced increase.
Darrell Vaz there, the Minister of Transport. Yes, a lot will turn on the state's ability to enforce the rules on this one. That's where we have to leave it on the price of travel for this evening on the Lead. So we take a break. When we come back, we'll have more.
We want a piece for Jamaica. Yo, what are you? Oh man, no, no, brother, no, man. Can I see you ever play ref? No, game, no play. Look a ball game. No, I said, place when you come from, brother, I want to live good, man. I want to live good, brethren. No shake on, I can play a little ball, brethren. Really, have to shake on? Yeah, man, and no badness, brethren. Just live good, man. Come together, I make the violence done. Hey, what up, boy?
Hi, I am Candy Pang.
What a guan?
What a guan?
That a guan, pa.
What a guan? What a guan?
What a guan? Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 8 a.m., 1:30 p.m., and 10 p.m. on CVM TV.
That's a guan, pa. What a guan?
The internationally acclaimed On Stage with Winfred Williams.
At a new time, Saturdays at 8 p.m. on CVM TV.
So much more than entertainment.
Welcome back to Lead Story, Global Lead. Now we're going to bring for you three stories, international stories Jamaicans should be watching tonight. Firstly, we take a stop in Kenya. Based on a BBC report, 2 people have been killed in the central Kenyan town of Nanyuki amid protests against U.S. plans to establish an Ebola isolation center at the military base nearby. The isolation center is to be staffed by U.S. medics and is intended to treat U.S. citizens affected by the current outbreak in the Democratic Republic of Congo. Here's more from the BBC.
In Kenya, sources have confirmed to the BBC that 2 people have died in protests against the establishment of a US government Ebola isolation unit. Kenya's Doctors Union and government watchdogs oppose the plan, saying it risks exposing local populations. Our correspondent Thomas Mukwana is at the scene of Monday's protests in Nanyuki and has been outlining how the unrest played out over the past 24 hours.
It's a lot calmer than the videos we saw yesterday. Yesterday, this road behind me, the airbase is farther down that road, a few kilometers from here. But down that road on the other side is where Nanyuki town is, and that's where most of the protesters congregated yesterday. And as you said, they were marching against the establishment of that Ebola isolation facility by the U.S. government inside the Kenyan airbase here in Laikipia. But earlier in the day, there were agency reports of 2 men who died reportedly at these protests yesterday. And the BBC, we've been able to confirm that 2 men indeed died yesterday evening, and both of them were brought in that facility over there. It's the Nanyuki Referral Hospital. One apparently died, according to reports, at the emergency section of that hospital. But we've seen both bodies, and both appear to have bullet wounds. A local protest organizer has confirmed to us that the man that was brought at the emergency section was shot at a settlement nearby called Baraka Estate. And Good Samaritans drove him quickly to this hospital, but he tragically passed away, and his family has been informed. But the police have not confirmed any of this to the media yet, but we will be getting in touch with them. And the local police have not also given us responses on exactly what happened. So far, we haven't seen any protests yet today, but police officers are all over the town on every intersections of roads, and they've been deployed in droves in this town to try and avoid protests from happening today.
And what we're hearing from the government there about these plans to create this Ebola isolation units, the president has been speaking.
The president spoke yesterday, and he said that this is part of a health pact between Kenya and the United States government. He says that Kenya, since independence, has been receiving around 25 to 35% of its health budget from the United States, and he says that this partnership was effective in stopping the spread of COVID-19 a few years ago, and also other diseases that have been spreading within this region. And Marco Rubio also said that he's donated around $113 million within the region, and specifically $13.5 million to the Kenyan government for Ebola preparedness. The government looks like it's firmly set to carry on with the establishment of this facility. But the protests are said they might happen over the next few days, but nothing here yet. But if you get on the internet, Kenyans online are rallying against this.
That story there from the BBC. We now turn our attention from continental Africa to Europe. The war in Ukraine, at least 22 people are now dead, reported dead, and more than 100 injured after Russia launched one of its largest aerial assaults on Ukraine since the war began. The latest barrage comes amid escalating fighting and renewed international concern over the intensity of Russia's attacks. Here's more in this report from Sky News.
This is one of the biggest barrages of drones and missiles Russia has launched since the war began. The wail of air raid sirens, then the fires lighting up the night sky over Kiev and other Ukrainian cities. For hours, wave after wave of drones and missiles. Moscow had spent days warning retaliation was coming. Overnight, it arrived.
I went out into the corridor with the phone, and before I understood what happened, everything fell on my head. The glass and the door blew out.
All I could hear in the distance was my wife's scream. I crawled over the fragments. Thank God we're alive.
As emergency workers responded to the attack, the Kremlin said these strikes were revenge for a Ukrainian drone attack, which it claims hit a college dormitory in the Russian-controlled Luhansk region, killing 21 students. For Ukrainians, the warning had brought days of anxiety. President Zelensky renewing his appeal to Western allies.
Потрібні результати по кожній країні, яка може нам допомогти.
We need results from every country that can help us. The intelligence warning regarding Russian strikes remain in effect. Our defenders of the sky are ready 24/7.
The Kremlin wants to demonstrate it can still escalate the conflict despite more than 4 years of war and despite increasingly costly setbacks. It has been striking Ukrainian cities for years, trying to break the will of the population. But these mass assaults are becoming more frequent at a time when there are questions over Ukraine's stocks of interceptors. Ukraine's military, though, is increasingly confident. Its deep and repeated strikes into Russian territory are causing massive economic pain, destroying oil infrastructure. And in terms of negotiations, the diplomacy is at a standstill. But the Kremlin remains defiant, demanding the conflict ends on its terms.
That report there from Sky News. And finally, tonight, we turn our focus on the 2026 FIFA World Cup, which is just days away. The 2026 FIFA World Cup is the largest tournament in the competition's history, with matches being played across 16 host cities in the United States, Mexico, and Canada. In this report from Al Jazeera, we take a closer look at some of the venues for the tournament where more footballing history will be made.
The World Cup here in Qatar 4 years ago was played across 8 stadiums, with the final here at Lusail Stadium. It's a very different story this time round though. The biggest World Cup ever will be held in 3 countries for the first time and across 16 cities. Eleven of the venues are in the United States, offering a lineup of huge, mostly modern arenas that usually belong to NFL teams, with all roads leading to the MetLife Stadium in New Jersey, which hosts the final on July 19th. The AT&T Stadium in Dallas will host more matches than any other venue, 9 in total. Nicknamed the Death Star for its futuristic Star Wars-style design, it's so big the Statue of Liberty could fit inside with the roof closed. In Los Angeles, the SoFi Stadium will host 8 games. It's the most expensive stadium ever built, costing around $5.5 billion. Anyone who watched this year's Super Bowl in February will recognize the next one. Levi's Stadium in the San Francisco Bay Area has its own rooftop farm growing organic produce for its food stalls and restaurants. In Philadelphia, Lincoln Financial Field is one of the greenest venues in professional sport, powered in part by 10,000 solar panels. We'll also see games in Atlanta, Boston, Houston, Kansas City, Miami, and Seattle. Co-hosts Mexico will welcome fans to 3 cities, Guadalajara, Monterrey, and Mexico City. Home of the legendary Estadio Azteca, the first stadium to host 3 World Cups, and the place where both Pelé and Maradona lifted the trophy. The first men's World Cup match on Canadian soil will be in Toronto. That'll be Canada against Bosnia and Herzegovina at BMO Field, the smallest venue at this tournament with a 45,000 capacity. And Vancouver's BC Place is the most northerly venue at this World Cup and will host 7 matches in total.
Those were your top stories for the global current this evening. And of course, that last one there from Al Jazeera. Now, the presiding officers in the nation's parliament have finally done the right thing by the Jamaican people. They've sworn to serve by tabling the Integrity Commission's investigative report into the affairs of the Firearm Licensing Authority. Given a previous court ruling on a matter of a similar nature, it was quite pellucid that the nation's parliament did not need to muzzle itself, yet it did. Thankfully, after much public debate and clamour, Jamaica's parliament has acted in favour of transparency and accountability. Finally, one would say. Here's the hoping that in the future, there isn't a repeat of any action that does not serve the greater public interest by those chosen to preside over the people's parliament. That's all the time we have here on The Lead Story. I'm Tyrone Reid, and on behalf of the entire CVM production team, thank you for watching Lead Story. Up next, CVM News.
Tune in to Lead Story, weekdays at 6 p.m. Hosted by Jody Ann Quarry.
Let's delve deep